Hello, my friend, and welcome to another episode of Harmonic Habits, where we bring happiness and success for you, your family, and your workplace. I'm very privileged to have a guest here who just gave the greatest training session, I guess, at the Creative Collaboration Summit. This is a communication and leadership coach. She is top notch, and I would like to introduce you to Fabiola Dominguez. So, Fabiola, tell us about yourself.
Thank you, Amy. I really appreciate your words and especially being here with you and your people. Yes, I'm a communication and leadership coach who back then I was a news reporter and I also worked as a corporate communicator. And then I decided to get certified in coaching and life coaching and manager coaching to focus in these two specific areas because my mission is to release your talent. So I work directly, basically more with women who are in leading positions in the corporate area, because I believe that when you're leading, the communication is a must. You really need to have that skill well developed in order to connect better with your people and have better results. So really happy to share with you some more insights about it.
That's perfect. Perfect. Yeah. So I'm just curious what the specific incident that had you decide that you wanted to step into being a communication and leadership coach.
Yeah, well, I think that it's been kind of like a journey throughout the last 15 years when I was reporting and that I really connected easily with people, getting in their interviews. And then when I moved on to the corporate side and the communications, I discovered my passion for leadership and how you can have such an impact to create uh, development in people and having more team building. But sometimes that leadership is missing the communication skill, right? Sometimes you can have such great hard skills, but the soft skills such as communication can be a struggle. And back in 2019, there was like a little inner voice who just like kept saying, you should be doing something else. This is not it. And then the pandemic came up. So I decided to take that time to, while I was working, to get certified in coaching, in life and manager coaching. And I think that that was like the little puzzle piece which put everything together. Because when I was doing the corporate communications, I loved the fact that I was being in touch with so many people around the world, because I was working in an organization that had clients from over 400 multinationals. So I really love that because I even had that when I was a kid. I studied in a school that had over 32 nationalities, and but there was a piece missing, and it was going like deeper into the person of what were their struggles, what are they passionate about, and how can we help them to even get to reach those goals and communicate better with their teams to have a better day-to-day basis. So during those 2 years of 2020 to 2022, I went through my certifications. And last year on Women's International Day, I decided to quit my job and began with this journey of fulfilling my dream of being a full-time coach.
That's amazing. So, what is it? You said something about having a lot of nationalities and that you became passionate through that experience about really finding out what drove the person, what made them tick,
Mhm.
and you wanted to help bring this out, right? So,
Yeah.
when you came to the Creative Collaboration Summit, I noticed you were somebody who jumped in right away. And my question is, why is that important to you? Why is it important that you draw out the best and that you help people globally to connect?
I think that sometimes and it was a limiting belief before. So I think that when you feel that your service or your talents can be reduced just to even your neighborhood or the country you're living in, um, you're reducing your impact. You're reducing the impact of your own service of the talents that the universe gave you to be here, doing them, developing them. So I was very fortunate to learn English when I was 11 years old in the school I studied in. So I think that has been a major turnover for me to be more in contact with people around the world. And I just love learning about the cultures, the way of thinking, the way of also being so similar. Like when we are all connected, and I don't know if you've noticed that through the collaboration summit, that we have the same struggles, we have the same fears, and we sometimes forget about that. that that's that's actually so human that we forget about it. And I really love to connect with that, to feel it, and to know that I can be of service some way. And if I can just help one person one day, every single day, I think then I'm fulfilling my mission.
Oh, definitely. That's 365 people at least in a year.
Yeah,
And if you multiply that, imagine if everybody in the world had a
yeah,
goal to help one person a day,
yeah.
every day. What do you think that would do?
Oof. I think it has like a ripple effect, right? Because that person is gonna have her own transformation, and she's gonna provoke that through her team and through her people around her, even her family. So I think that's the beauty of it, that if one person goes inside and checks what needs to be changed and what she really needs to connect with, and she goes through that transformation, and then you share that with someone else, you're gonna be having the ripple effect. And I'm really quite a I'm very optimistic. So I believe that when you get to do that, you get to have a better world.
Oh, you do. The more you transform somebody else's life, the more your world transforms too. It's totally true.
Yeah.
Um, so you, what would you recommend? Because there
Mhm.
are going to be lots of people watching this, all different ages, right? So if you were recommending something that would bring happiness and success to, say, a corporate executive or a business owner who might
Mhm.
be stressed out, overworked, maybe things are still looking pretty good, but internally they're struggling. What would
Yeah.
you recommend?
First of all, to not feel alone through this process, because we've all been there. And I think that the major root is the which limiting belief, or how many limiting beliefs are you having in your on your part. That if you actually question yourself, is this really true? What happens if I give it a try and see if something else happens? Because as the saying goes, if you do things differently, you might get different results, right? So I think that it's just doing like just hold on to it, not go in a rush, and say, okay, what am I feeling right now? Okay, I'm feeling frustrated. Okay, why am I feeling frustrated? And then a new thought is going to come up. Okay, so let's say I'm feeling frustrated because my business isn't going very well. So why is it going very well? So if you go like through the inner layers of each of the questions, you're going to go to the basic root, and I'm pretty sure there's going to be a belief. And a belief is a thought that you repeat over and over again, and it turns out into a habit, right? So uh, that's part of my method, even when I work with my clients, to check what are those thoughts that you're containing or keeping to yourself, that they're adding up to you. They're actually subtracting your essence and your goals. So and once we get to work on those, and you also, I'm pretty sure I can tell you that you must have evidence that in the past you did something that right now you may believe you haven't. Maybe it's not with the business, but maybe like a few years ago you began to run a marathon, and you began by running 2K and then 5K, and all of a sudden now you're doing 40K, right? So we all have the evidence that there was a moment when we did something that really challenged us, and we made it possible. So when you go to that evidence, you can train your brain to see, okay, if I did that before, I can definitely do this now somehow. Maybe I need some help from this and that, and I'm sure you're gonna get the answers easily, and the emotion is gonna change, because the
Yeah.
emotion is gonna move maybe a scale up. It's gonna go from frustration now to a little bit of a relief, a little bit of, you might be a little bit scared too, but it's gonna be you're gonna be scared with an emotion of, okay, let's give it a try, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if you even felt it too.
Well, oh, I've definitely gone through that, but you've said a couple things that are absolutely key. First, it's like you're moving up little by little by little. It's like people expect that they can take giant leap from, like, I feel like here and I should be like that, or I'm accomplishing this and I should be accomplishing that, but it doesn't really exactly work like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like you can gradually move up 1% better at a time, adds up really quickly, right?
Yes.
The other thing that you said that was genius is asking the question, but then asking another question. So continually asking yourself questions, like leading down, well, why is that? Why is that? Until you find the base problem, right? The root cause, instead of just looking at the symptoms.
Yeah.
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 Very cool. So same kind of question, but for a younger audience. So say that you're in high school or in college, right? So fairly young, and you're, you're not sure what to do with your life, or you're just stepping into the career world and you're kind of stressed out because, it's all new for you and you want to make the right choice. There's a lot of pressure on you to make sure that you make the right choice so you can actually live your life successfully.
Yeah.
What advice would you have for somebody in that?
Well, I totally feel them because I was in that place. And the first thing I would tell them is to remove from their life the limiting belief of that's impossible. Because if you have maybe like a dream of being an artist, let's say, it's you're going to be pretty sure that people around you are going to be saying like, oh, you're not going to make money out of that. But if that's your true talent, if that's what makes you be in the zone, like I don't know if you've seen the movie, what's it called? It's a Disney movie, Soul.
I haven't
Um,
seen.
haven't okay. Well, if you
I haven't seen it.
okay, then I suggest you to do so. Well, Soul, it shows that when he's so passionate about music and he's in the zone, like everything flows. And actually, I think that's what you want to do. If you can start doing that from a very early age, you're going to be very close to happiness every single day, even though there may be some struggles. But if you go through what the logic usually says, is like, no, this is more of a career that's going to make you get more money, but it doesn't really connect with you, then you're going to be frustrated. And the cost of that, it's way higher. So what I really suggest is to check what makes you be in the zone, what makes you be really passionate about, what comes out through so easily. Like if is it writing, is it listening to someone, is it creating music? There's so many things that I'm sure you already know that you're really connected with, or you might have different passion. You might be a multi-passionate person, multi-talented, and that's okay too. And I feel you too, because for example, before becoming a coach, I really asked myself, and I struggled if I should be a coach or if I should be a chef because I love cooking. But now I thought that that one thing doesn't have to discriminate the other. You can put them together somehow, and we'll see what happens in the near future with that. So if you have multi talents, then choose one or choose two in which you know that you can put them together and see what makes you really be creative, happy. And then something you're gonna like, you can search if someone else has done it or not. You can like look for some mentors who can guide you through that, or put them into practice to see if you really are happy doing that or not. Maybe if you wanted to be a chef and then you go to a kitchen and you live all the craziness, you notice like, no, this is not for me. But maybe you can be a different type of chef then. So I think it's just to doing that introspection and putting it into practice.
That's
To
such
get
such
evidence.
gold, such
Yeah.
gold. And I can relate. I'm a multi-talented, multi-passionate person.
Yeah.
And when you started saying that, I was like, oh my gosh, I feel like you're talking to me. Like this is this calling. I've been getting nudges lately that I need to play music more. Like,
Okay.
and so today, I've worked way too much lately. And today I was like, that's it. I need some soul time, like more than usual. And so I picked up my guitar and I was just playing it. And I'm like, you know what? I need this. It's going to help me get back into alignment. And then I can continue with what I need to continue on. So, yeah.
And I'm sure, Amy, that when you're doing that, new ideas are going to come up for your business, because when you're on the creative side, you get like so many ideas that you should have like your post-its and your pen right away for the ideas to come up too.
Exactly. And that's the thing. It's like I used to feel so frustrated because I felt like I had to choose. I know you said choose one or two, right? And anytime somebody said that to me, that was like them just punching me. It was like, because I'm like, I don't want to have to choose between my loves. Like I'm a multi-passionate person.
Yeah.
And what I got is there is something to choosing one or two. It's
Mhm.
like you can choose that for a time and then you can choose another one. So
Yeah.
where I used to feel constrained when people would say that, now I have this, oh, well, I'm going to master this.
Mhm.
And then it's going to be able to come in. And sure enough, all of the pieces, the art and the music and the writing and the channeling, all of that has come into my business. And I help people. I help people in so many ways that you would never imagine. Yeah.
That's amazing. And I think that's such a great example because sometimes you think that you have to, if you choose one, then you can go back to the other ones. But no, if you're choosing one, it's just for you to begin with something. Because otherwise you're gonna be struggling like, oh my, you're gonna be like overwhelmed. You're gonna say, oh my goodness, then should I do this? Should I do that? So mastery is related to putting things in practice, but being like immersed in one thing at a time. So,
Mm-hmm.
just like you said, if you choose one, you can give it a try, and then you can actually discover that you had other skills that you hadn't even thought of before.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. I'm going to give my own little advice on this as well.
Yeah.
Hone your craft. If you're good at something and you just assume that it's not valuable, don't assume that. Like hone it, because we all have gifts.
Yeah.
And the mistake I made, and I'm just saying hindsight, I wish I had have taken my gifts and spent more time really perfecting them,
Hmm.
because the natural, like there were some parts of it that were totally natural.
Hmm.
I think not doing that was a disservice. And I probably would have been happier to do that too. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure. And I relate to that too. Actually, there's a quote from Marie Forleo, who I don't know if you know her, but she says like if you don't put your talents to service, then you're stealing away from everyone else because those talents can be of use and of assistance for so many people that you're actually stealing if you're not putting them. And when I read that, I was like, oh my goodness, then I should really jump into this.
Yeah, it's like, oh my goodness, I'm a jerk. I've been keeping this all to myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, who have your mentors been, Fabiola?
Well, actually, she's one, and I mean, I dream of getting to meet her sometime. But Marie Forleo was one of them. Who, when I was driving to work, I would listen to her podcast every single day, and but also I have other ones that they're like huge mentors, international ones like Robin Sharma, Tony Robbins, Dean Graziosi. Dan Locke, because when I began doing this, it's like, oh my goodness, you have to sell, you have to sell things, and it's like, okay, so who's really good at it? And so what I usually do is to get by their courses and get to do them and learn from them, because I think that when you learn from the people who made it through, then you're gonna accelerate your own process too. And I have other ones who are like maybe here in Costa Rica or in Latin America who I've been working with. But I definitely, I'm a true believer that when you invest in yourself and in your areas of opportunity or weaknesses, then you're gonna accelerate your own process, and it's gonna be a little bit less frustrating, especially when you're launching your own company.
Nice, nice, true. Now, you mentioned you wanted to meet Marie Folio. Who are a couple other people that you haven't met that you really want to meet?
Well, I would love to meet Dan Locke. I would love to meet Tony Robbins sometime. And some people always say like, "Oh, that's crazy! They're like so huge mentors." I was like, "Well, I don't think it's impossible." So I definitely will love to do that at some time.
Well, it's definitely not impossible. I can say that firsthand. So I'm just wondering, like, how do you attract people into your pipeline? How do you find clients currently?
Believe it or not, it's word of mouth. I think that my work as in my past jobs um, spoke well of what I did, and that gave me the opportunity to kind of like branch out the connections, like the networking, and that's like the first one, and the other one is through my social media. and my webpage, that directly how I'm like getting more leads.
Nice, nice.
Mhm.
Well, where, like, say that people are watching this right now, what social media platform would you want them to follow you on?
Sure, I would invite them to go through my LinkedIn, which is usually in the English version because I have Instagram that's in Spanish. I work in both languages, so at LinkedIn is there. You go. It's Fabiola Dominguez Coach, and I'll be more than happy to be in touch with you too. And also, there's my webpage, which is fabioladominguez.cr.
Yeah. What I like about your website is that you can click English or you can use Spanish, and you do work in both languages, so which makes you very, very valuable as a coach,
Thanks.
especially because people have businesses and they also need to communicate with customers as well.
Mhm.
So amazing, amazing. What is your, like, if you have one wish before you die for
Mhm.
your business or your company,
Mhm.
what is it?
I think the fact that I can feel that I've impacted so many lives through my mission, through my talents of getting to know that I've helped thousands of women around the world to communicate better, to feel more self confident, to to own their leadership, not to own someone else's style, but to determine what's their own, to discover what's their own leadership style, and to feel so safe when they give feedback, feel so safe when they're public speaking. Um, so having that impact on that, that would make me feel like the happiest ever.
Nice. And why did you choose women specifically?
Well, because I think that we are currently in such a time of the world where women are getting to have more opportunities than even any time in the human history, right? And I discovered that, well, one of the reasons was that the main clients who reached out to me were women, and that they were having like so many similarities of their insecurities of how should they lead, because they're like, oh, I've always had like male bosses and they've done this and that, but I don't know how to do my own style, and when I try to do theirs I feel terrible. So I discovered that I connect so great with them. And also uh, I believe that when you niche down, then you're gonna have a deeper impact on your service. And I love, even through my new content, I'm creating new content, and just get to vibe thinking about that woman who is struggling with her team or who's struggling with her own insecurities, has made me come in such a great creative place that I know that I can have a bigger impact that way. But
Yeah,
of course, if there's some men who want to reach out and connect with my values and my passions, then more than happy to help them too.
that's beautiful. So I know I'm just going to tell everybody, like, I'm personally hiring you as my coach because I know you're the person for me. I know that,
Thank you.
right? And at different times in our lives, it might be different people, right? I wanted to show you something because you had said that you would like to meet Dan Locke.
That's great, Amy. When did you meet him?
I've met him a few times actually. So yeah, but lovely in person. So chill.
Yeah.
I guess I don't know how to say it, but you know how you can meet somebody and it's like you can sense their energy and feel things. Yeah, just really nice. Like him and Jenny, so lovely. His entire team is lovely. I got along with all of them, and yeah, wonderful.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. So
And I think that's what makes great mentors too. When you have that vibe that you truly want to help, and that you're not just there for the money, but actually that you're fulfilling your mission and helping other people to fulfill theirs. That's what I really admire from them. So that's great. Thanks
yeah,
for sharing
I
that.
admire that too. When I caught their purpose and stuff, I'm like, that's something I can stand behind, right? And
Yeah.
so that's one thing for people watching this is like if you are in alignment with the people on your team, anything can happen. You can create anything. All
Mhm.
right. So, what's your personal lifetime goal?
Wow. Um, I think it's just being more authentic every single day. because I discovered, and this has been like very lately that I've discovered this, that there was like this little rebel voice, or a little outlaw, a bit of me, that maybe I had contained it because it wasn't correct, or it wasn't um, well done for the positions I was working on. But when you connect with your true authentic self, I think that that makes you closer to be happier. And even though the struggles that life might come up, might have for you, but I think that that's that's my main goal. And when I'm more authentic, I think my husband is happier, and maybe some other people aren't going to be like that, because they're going to see a new face that they weren't used to. And I'm learning to let go of that, because um, you're here. I think that when we're here in life, is because we want to be true to ourselves. And there are going to be some challenges when you want to be really true to yourself. Some people are going to understand it and others not. But if you feel safe, if you feel really good, then that's what really matters.
Totally. I don't think I could have said that better. That's amazing. It's
Mhm.
amazing. So, what is the going to your business, right?
Mhm.
What's the biggest mistake you've ever made in business?
Wow. Well, being really vulnerable and honest, I discovered that when you are developing your own company, you get to see your major strengths, but also your major weaknesses. And if it would be me, I wouldn't actually have a company. I will just give away my talent. I will do it everything for free.
I'm like giving you a little heart in, in understanding there.
Yeah.
Hashtag relate.
So that has been like my major struggle, to learn to sell my service, not to give it away for free. And that there's some ways I can give a few things for free, like my
Like
content, or
this.
and this, yes. But that has been like the major. I don't want to call it mistake. I want to call it as a learning, because that made me actually get to Dan Locke. I was like, okay, I'm struggling with this. Who's really good at selling? And then I Googled, and Dan Locke came up. I was like, okay, I'm going to learn from him then. So I think that has been like a really good lesson, life lesson, to put value to things, and also to understand that if someone doesn't value what you're selling right now, then that you shouldn't feel bad about it, because then you're not connecting with the right person, and it's not a match. So there's going to be someone else who's going to put the worth to what you're really doing. So that I would say that has been like the major lesson throughout the last months.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Mhm.
Yeah, and it's just not a match. Sometimes it's not a match right now. Sometimes it's not a match ever.
Yeah.
And at times that can feel like your heart's breaking, like you were rejected, and it feels terrible. But if you just recognize that, just some people like chocolate and some people like vanilla ice cream, it doesn't really matter. There's nobody who's going to be really hurt.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? It's just our ego that gets hurt. It's not like they're not actually rejecting us.
Exactly. And actually, I totally agree with that. And I came up also with this other quote from, aside from Gabby Bernstein. I don't know if it's from someone else, but it's like, rejection means protection. And that has become also one of my mottos. If something doesn't work, it's because it wasn't meant to be.
Oh
Because
my God, I
otherwise,
love that.
yeah, otherwise it could be quite a struggle throughout the process, and you're going to be stressed out and drained, and you don't want to be working like that too.
Oh yeah, sometimes when you get rejected and that it ends up being the best thing ever. You're like,
Hmm.
oh, for example, I got rejected last week in my
Okay.
business, and it
Uh-huh.
felt awful because
Mm.
I thought it was going to be like 100% yes, and
Yeah.
it wasn't. It went the exact opposite. But what ended up happening was like 2 days later, somebody with even the same name had the same skills, came in with just freedom and ease, just like, hi, I'm here to help you. I'm like, what? so
Wow.
so the universe will deliver you something better if you're open to it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
It's
know,
super cool.
I think that's a good note to add to the young people who are listening to us, because when we are younger, it really hurts to be rejected. And I would totally share with them this: rejection means protection, and you're gonna see throughout time that everything's gonna match. It's like, oh, now I understand why I was rejected then, because otherwise I wouldn't believe in this right now.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And yeah, I know we have limited time, so I'm just going to keep going. If you had one single word from letter A to Z, so you can pick anything,
Okay.
and it's to bring happiness and success or harmony to people on the planet, what word would you use?
Wow. The first one that comes up to my mind is talent. Um,
Talent.
Connect with your talent, and you're gonna be happier.
I love it. And I
Mhm.
love that we talked on multi-talents in this, because
Yeah.
most people don't touch on that.
Yeah.
I have a friend, and she was actually interviewed on this show,
Hmm.
and she is creating it's like the Renaissance. I don't know if it's the Renaissance woman or Renaissance something, but it's
Okay.
why be one thing when you can be everything? Because for her, she's very expressive. She has a lot of talent. She loves to connect with people.
Hmm.
And being told that you've got to like focus all the time for someone who is naturally like that, that's challenging.
It is.
So yeah, so I'm like so proud of her because she's just completely thrown that whole idea out, broken that mindset, and she's living a life she absolutely loves.
That's great. Yes. So I think that when you are more connected to your intuition, things get easier. And sometimes people go like, how do I do that? It's like you just feel it. You just have like those little thoughts that come up to your mind, like, no, don't go that way, or yes, do this, or yeah, talk to the person. You don't know what's gonna come up out of it. Okay, then I'll do it. Actually, that's why we're here. I mean, when you said that you were looking for someone to do a presentation for a pitch deck and how to do a successful pitch deck, I was like, well, I've done this before. Why shouldn't I should raise my hand. So and that's how I met you, actually.
Yeah, and you were amazing. Like that presentation that you did and helping, like you had a case study. We had a real live person there who brought a pitch deck you had never seen, and you
Hmm.
went through and you really helped them to see what they needed to do to hone it. For anybody watching this, if you want to get that video of Fabiola at the Creative Collaboration Summit, that would be on my YouTube channel. Okay,
Okay.
so check that out. And I learned so much from you. I am going to be using what you taught in my own business and also sharing that with people that I coach as well. So
Great.
thank you. All
My
right.
pleasure.
Is there any other question that I did not get a chance to ask you that you wanted me to ask you?
Well, I'm more used to asking too. As a coach and as a past reporter. So um no, I think we've covered pretty much everything. I've really enjoyed this conversation, Amy, and actually I hope I just want to say to people who are listening to us that when you, and this is related to Brene Brown, that's another mentor I've learned from. When you accept vulnerability, when you're vulnerable, you're going to be brave too at the same time. And when you're brave, you're going to be vulnerable too. So just when you keep that in mind, a lot of the worries or other beliefs come down, and then you see that we are more similar than we ever thought, or that you and the universe, just like you said, is going to show you people who are going to appear all of a sudden, that's going to help you with your purpose. So if I can be of service with that too, feel free to reach out, and I'm really happy to be in touch.
Amazing. So thank you so much for being a guest on Harmonic Habits, Fabiola. Fantastic content. I encourage everybody to check you out, check out your website, and as long as I can still have you on my coach or as my coach, hire Fabiola. Okay. All right. Have an amazing day, and thanks for watching Harmonic Habits. See you
Thank
soon.
you.